I'm Anastasia Goodstein. I'm the Vice President of Digital for the Ad Council, and I am here with Stephen Laster, who is the Chief Digital Officer at McGraw-Hill Education. Thanks for being here today at CES 2014.
It's a pleasure.
So tell me, in your opinion, what we're going to see this year in terms of big trends in educational technology.
Sure, this year is really about personalized and adaptive learning. It's about more than just customizing in big data. It's about solutions that are tailored to each learner based on their strengths and their weaknesses that in essence allow the learner to take more responsibility for their course of study. So it's an amazing time. We have some of the world's greatest technology woven together with great academic design, with great pedagogy, really changing the face of education.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about data? I mean, we always hear the buzzword now, big data.
Sure.
What role do you see this playing for, schools and teachers, and how can they really leverage this to get the most out of these technologies?
That's a great question because it's not like retail and big data, right? So think of your favorite website and you go there, and if they recommend the wrong shoe or the wrong electronic device, it doesn't really matter. You don't buy it. In education, recommendations, insights, and data suggestions are incredibly important because never do you want to send the learner in a direction that they don't need to go. So for us, data is at the core of what our learning solutions do, but it's really harnessing that data through proven algorithms that help the learner understand what they're ready to tackle next. And it's really the insights from the data, whether it's in our Learn Smart adaptive solution or through any of McGraw-Hill's platforms or our competitors' platforms for the same fact. It's really about helping change outcomes, and it's really based on evidence-based recommendations and insights.
Great. And what do you see as sort of the biggest challenge in terms of classrooms, really adopting this technology?
Sure, and if we take the question apart a little bit and think about K-12, it's really about that school building's readiness. I mean, it's sad to say, in the country that invented the technology behind the internet, there's a large number of classrooms today that aren't wired, don't have wireless, and quite frankly can't give those students access to the promise of what learning technology offers. So in K-12, it's really about infrastructure. And McGraw-Hill works closely with the federal government trying to push the rollout of infrastructure faster, because without it, nothing else is possible. On the college campus, it's a very promising world. Our colleges are very highly wired. Our students, in a large number of our institutions have access, but there's still too large a number of institutions where that's not the case. There are too many community colleges where access is a problem, as an example. And so what we'd love to see is a more level field in terms of access. I think once you take that out of the picture, there's no stopping us.
That's great. Can you speak a little bit to the role of the teacher or professor in personalized learning and how you see that evolving?
Absolutely. If we could roll the clock back 400 years, probably the best education one had was the one-on-one mentor with the genius, right? That's not very probable today, nor is it very efficient today. So what we see is by using data and by using adaptive and personalized learning solutions and by empowering the student to understand where they need to engage and by giving the teacher real-time insights into that student's strengths and weaknesses, we're enhancing the role of the teacher. We're taking that precious time with student and allowing both student and teacher to make the most of it. So we see teacher as central today, tomorrow, and into the future. Learning is social. Most of us need a mentor, need direction, need insights. And what we're trying to do is take away all the noise. So whether it's in our public schools, where if you think about it in K-12, on average, that teacher with her 25 or 30 students has about 4 minutes a day to think about each student. And we want those 4 minutes to be the most impactful they can be. In our higher ed institutions, in those core courses where there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 students, it's again about building smaller learning communities, and so that we can personalize and tailor a rigorous curriculum to the needs of those students. And in the event there are office hours, when that student walks through that door, we want technology to provide a deep understanding to make the most out of that moment.
Great. Has there been anything at this year's CES that has personally sort of excited you, or that you're, looking forward to seeing how it plays out?
So there are many things, and we probably don't have time for me to talk about all of them. But
Pick one.
thematically, what's exciting me is, especially in the education track, people's commitment to open standards, because those are paramount. It takes an ecosystem to deliver a digital experience. Standards are the way through that. And what's exciting me is people really are understanding that we've probably passed the tipping point and are working together in all facets of educational technology, from the devices to the infrastructure to the solutions, the content to the pedagogy. You just see a very uniformed approach to thinking about how we need to move forward to a more creative world. And that's what excites me most.
Great. Thanks so much, Stephen. I hope you have a wonderful CES this year.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.